Now you know what European MPs feel like. You're all sat there with your earphones on, looking really, really serious. It's okay. And during the presentation, it's all right to laugh. So just think about enjoying yourself here, because at the moment, you look really, really serious. So I'm here to tell you about the first high street bank that has opened its doors with an independent licence in 170 years. Was anybody alive then? No. Well, that first bank was Clydesdale in 1838. And to put that in context, Queen Victoria had not even ascended to the throne of the United Kingdom. So it's a story of courage. It's a story of putting the customer at the heart of everything. Now, you'll hear lots of organisations today, tomorrow, during the expo, that will talk about the fact that they put the customer at the heart of everything. We truly believe that a lot of organisations have paid a lot of money to have value statements, but quite frankly, the behaviours of their board, their leadership team and their colleagues actually betray those values, sometimes completely unexpectedly. And what we focus on at Metro is a leadership team that absolutely wants to put the customer there, but more importantly, we demonstrate it. So there's not been a high street bank open in 170 years. Why is that? Well, actually, the barriers to entry have been significant. And in 2008, there was a banking crisis both in the UK and across the globe. And at that time, we believed that trust had completely broken down between the existing banks in the UK and the customers. And there was research that showed that at that time, a traffic warden was more trusted than a banker. And I just want you to think about that for a minute. You know, you'd have gone from a professional in the high street where young children aspired to be a pillar of the community, a bank manager, and suddenly by 2008, a traffic warden that sort of puts tickets on your car is more trusted to do the right thing. So we talked about wanting people to love their bank at last. And we said we wanted to create fans. Is anybody here a fan of anything? A band or a football team? Let's have a show of hands. Show that the earphones are working. So if you think about that, actually what do fans do? Well, fans cheer you on. Fans turn up week after week and cheer you on. Fans actually go and tell other people about the experience they've had. And it's a really smart way to acquire new customers. Metro Bank spent last year traditional marketing in acquiring new customers, 300,000 of them was less than £100,000. So if you're in a marketing team at the moment, I suspect you've got bigger budgets than that, and you've probably not got the challenge to get 300 new to your organisation customers. We did that. We did that because our customers became fans and actually went out and told other people about the Metro Bank story. And that's what I'm here to do today, to share it with you. So first of all, let's link leadership and customer experience. Has anybody ever been to Disneyland in Florida? Quick show of hands again. So just imagine the courageous decision that Walt Disney made just over 50 years ago when he walked along the Florida swamplands and he decided he was going to create a business empire that would attract 40 million customers a year, and his business model was based on a mouse. Just think about that. So it's Florida swamplands where alligators are all over the place. He's got a business model that's based on a mouse, and he's going to build a theme park empire to surprise, delight, and amaze 40 million people a year. And some of you in the room know exactly what he's created. So it takes courage. And I think it took courage to go and open the first high street bank in 170 years, because no one's ever done it before that's still alive. And secondly, banking is a hugely regulated environment, and we've just had the biggest banking crash in history. Our version of Walt Disney was Vernon Hill. Vernon Hill had done this previously in America with Commerce Bank, and actually had sold Commerce Bank in 2007. And upon the invitation of a friend, Anthony Thompson, came and visited the UK banks. And he thought the service was simply crap. And what Vernon said we're going to do is revolutionise UK banking. And what Metro Bank is going to do is we're going to do it anyway because it's the right thing to do for our people. But we are absolutely consumed with challenging the industry to be a better industry for customers. We want customers to get the brilliant service from all banks, but we're going to lead the way. So, we're encouraging people to join a revolution. I think people fight for a right, but people die for a cause. So we're creating the cause that is absolutely bringing the standards of UK banking to put the customer at the heart of everything we do. So we talk about customer, but we also talk about culture. And we are happy to accept that Metro Bank is a cult. We chant regularly about who we are, and that's Metro Bank. We chant our colour, which is red, which you can see why. And actually, we're proud to have a culture where we've got 96% of all our colleagues, over 2,000, who are proud to work for Metro Bank. The other 4% are happy to work at Metro Bank, but we're working on that. So we talk about the culture, but we talk about execution. I think, again, a lot of businesses make lots of plans, but actually are quite poor at execution. And just listening to the speakers earlier today, actually giving the customers what they want, not just talking about it, is at the heart of what they want from their suppliers. So ultimately, that relentless execution, we believe, will show that we deliver, we don't talk. You can imagine there's lots of consultants that want to come and talk to you when you open a brand new bank. Now, we asked one question of every consultant that came into our meeting rooms. Were you alive the last time a high street bank was opened in the UK? And on the basis that was 170 years ago, the answer to that question every time was no. So we asked another simple question. How do you know how to open a bank in the UK if you've never done it? So we took a different route. We thanked the consultants for their time, but we decided we would go and apply what's known as the 90-10 principle. My background's in sport, and sport, the 90-10 principle, is prevalent for lots of things. But from a bank perspective, the 90-10 principle is this. 90% of all the actions we make at Metro Bank are based on the actual insight and feedback from a customer. The other 10% is what we're going to deliver the industry and our customers that they don't yet know they need, but when they have it, it will be amazing and make their life easier. So we went and asked a lot of people on what would it take for you to bring your business to a brand new bank, one that has no track record, one that is brand new. And you think about trust between banks. They still wanted to trust the new bank, but we'd come from nowhere. We were bright, we were loud. Why trust us? So we really wanted to find out exactly what they wanted from a new bank on the high street. And what's really interesting is it was counter to everything we'd been told. We'd been told to offer the most amazing rates. Well, funnily enough, only 7% actually said we're interested in competitive rates. If that's what you want, we're not the bank for you. We're not going to try and capture the whole UK population. But actually what was really interesting is people said they wanted convenience. And convenience to a customer was going to be, can you give me a physical presence near where I work or live? And again, that's really counterintuitive to what all the other banks are doing at the moment. They're closing premises while we're choosing to open them. And then here's another question, if I can ask. Have any of you ever had any work done on your house or your car where the person who's done the work has been recommended by a family member or a friend? Can I just have that show of hands? Just take a look around. Referrals are really important, and I don't think UK businesses actually get the power of referrals. It doesn't half reduce the cost of acquisition. So we wanted to be something where people would shout about, the fans, and actually they would recommend Metro Bank. So actually, what did our customers really tell us when we got the verbatim feedback? That actually they wanted a great experience, not rate. They wanted value. Value isn't the cheapest. Value is the perception of what having that product or service will give to you. Is there anybody in the audience that owns either a Michael Kors or a Marc Jacobs or a Mulberry handbag? No gentlemen, that's good. But if you think about that, it's a bag. Functionally, you could use a plastic carrier bag that you were given from a supermarket. So people attribute a value proposition. That's what we try and deliver for our customers. And we're always trying to think this 90-10. The 10% was based on Henry Ford's statement that if he'd have asked his customers what they wanted, they'd have asked for faster horses. Instead, he gave them the motor car. So we're still thinking, what does a customer want? What does a customer need, even though they've not articulated that? We believe that service is more important than rate. Customers wanted to come to somewhere where they felt engaged and felt comfortable. And finally, look at the bottom line on the slide. We exist to make a profit. We do not exist to maximise profit at the customer's expense. Let me repeat that. We exist at Metrobank to make a profit. We do not exist to maximise the profit at the customer's expense. Who believes in the room that their organisation can make the same statement and give me the evidence that they do? Be proud, well done. Right? Because I don't see a lot of evidence to suggest that customers get the best value. I wrote to every high street bank 2 years ago and asked them to give me the evidence and the customer letters where the customers had written to them and said, we are fed up with human beings answering the telephone. We insist you install an automated voice response system. No one from any bank has given me that. So it's not about the customer, it's about cost to serve. We believe there's an absolute balance between cost to serve and delivering amazing experience. And that is the courage of leadership. That is the courage to make sure that the CFO doesn't run the bank. It's about reinvesting. It's about making the value proposition. I'd ask you to consider that as a key point of learning from this time together this morning. So firstly, we talk about location. And we want our location to look and feel welcoming. I'm a retailer. I have one desire only, and that's for people to walk across a Metrobank threshold. Because if you've done that, I know the rest is history. You will bank with Metrobank. So clearly we want to have a presence near where people work or live, and we want to make it welcoming. So that was a warehouse we bought on a crossroads in Slough. And this is what we turned that warehouse into. That is 7,000 square feet. We talk about transparency as one of our values. So it's transparent because we have glass. Every Metrobank store has to have a minimum of 16-foot glass. Beneath the picture, that is the UK's first drive-through bank. Is anybody here a parent with children under the age of 5 or ever had children under the age of 5? It's great, isn't it, having a fight with a car seat, then having a fight with a buggy because you want to go and visit your bank branch. And it possibly has steps up to it, which again isn't customer friendly. Does anybody here like cricket? You don't miss a ball being bowled by using our drive-through. You don't miss a moment on the radio. If you've got people maybe who you know that have got disabilities, again, a drive-through business is really helpful because you're actually making it easy to do business. So we're the first drive-through bank, and there'll be many more like that through the UK. So it's not a one-off, it's not a show home at Slough. There's some of our other stores. Chiswick's got a car park. We'll mention car parks later. We've got one at Ballroom Wood in the retail park, because actually we're a retailer. So why wouldn't we choose to be in a retail park where there's foot flow? Because remember, all I want is people to cross the threshold. The rest is easy. You'll see these polished tile floors. Particularly look at this, this store layout here. These long black tiles followed by individual black tiles. That's our queuing system. People walk along the long black tiles, stand on the single black tile and wait, and we serve them. You go in other organisations, they have ropes and posts. That is really, really unwelcoming in our opinion and our customers' opinion. So you can see we like our red M. We're really proud to wear the red M. Everything about us is living the brand. And I think a lot of leaders expect others in their organisation to live the brand, but somehow don't always live the brand themselves, particularly around behaviours, particularly around customer interaction. I mentioned car parks. So I said earlier that a lot of people's values that they've paid lots of money to have on the website are ultimately betrayed lower down the line and in the boardroom because actually your behaviours do not live up to your values. I don't think customers care what your values are. What they care is how you behave when dealing with them. So I know it's very difficult to read those signs. I'll read them for you. This one is the Royal Bank of Scotland. It says private car park for staff use only. This one is Santander. This is a private car park. It is for staff use only. This one is HSBC. It's very clear. It says staff parking for staff use only. I'm not declaring war on colleagues here, far from it. But who do you think would need to use the car park the most? The staff who don't move in or out during the day, or customers? Let's have a show of hands. Who thinks those car parks should be for customers? It's obvious. The staff get there earlier than the customers and they could park on the road for free. So isn't it bizarre that in some locations the customer of a business, a bank, has to pay to park and has to walk to go and do business with that? That's not welcoming, that's a barrier. And it's a crazy thing. Those banks could demonstrate they were more customer-centric tomorrow by just changing those signs. Now, I don't believe they realise what they're doing. And by the way, I've got 6,400 pictures of car park signs. All of them say the same thing, which is why when you go to Chiswick, it says for customer use only. And believe it or not, we actually let non-customers park there. Well, that's a smart way to get customers in. And you know what? No one ever blocks it. No one always abuses it. But we do not disqualify customers on any basis. They say, hard luck, don't park in my car park. So, as I said earlier, I don't believe customers want to understand the values, right? I think you spend a lot of time getting excited about it. We talk about leadership. We talk about behaviours. And we talk about every interaction, every one, either enhancing or diminishing the brand. Because the minute you think there's a neutral, I think you decide that mediocrity is acceptable for your customers. And the choice they've got these days, I don't think mediocrity is a driver for the growth of your business. So then we talk about creating value. How do we create fans? And I want to just go through these line by line. So we open 7 days a week. That includes Sundays. I don't believe there is a bank brand that opens its physical premises on a Sundays. But actually customers, that's their thinking time. That's their time when actually they can start make decisions, but when do you fulfill? I open more start-up business accounts on a Sunday than any other day of the week. Well, you're not going to ask your boss for half a day off to go and open a new small business and then you're going to leave. So why wouldn't you think about doing the transactions that you might want to be more private to you and your family on a day when it suits you? And we're talking about open 8 till late. On a Monday to Friday, every Metro Bank, every single one, is open 8 in the morning till 8 at night. On a Saturday, we open 8 in the morning till 6 at night. And on a Sunday, we open at 11 in the morning till 5 in the evening. We're open 362 days a year. Do you remember when I said we were going to revolutionise the industry? Well, we've just shoved 2 fingers up to bank holidays because this bank doesn't close. We only close on 3 days. Christmas Day, Easter Sunday. Legally, we have no choice. And actually, we also stay closed on New Year's Day. Let me tell you why. It's about leadership. I want to be Britain's best boss. And if I can give everybody the opportunity to go out on New Year's Eve, have a good time and not worry about work, then I know for the rest of the year, I've got an awful goodwill in our relationship. But think about other banks for a minute. They don't open at 8 o'clock. What time do they open? 9. Let's think about that. Is there a conspiracy theory somewhere that says they've all just gone into work, now let's open the doors? Then at 4:30, there's a big bat phone in every branch of the competition that says, quick, quick, they're leaving work, shut the doors. Would your business really survive with that attitude? So what do? They tell you, you can come and do your banking at lunchtimes. Brilliant. And then what do they do? After forcing you in, like sheep in a pen, they then let their staff go off on lunch. So we distribute the workload. It's a really smart model. We redistribute the workload with the customer at the heart of everything we do. We don't have AVR. We have real life human beings answering the phone going, hi, good morning, it's Chris at Metrobank, how can I help you today? And we want to serve you. We don't have any time allowance per contact centre operator. Because I've worked for another organisation where they insisted that no customer contact representative can take a call for longer than 3 minutes. So what happens at 2 minutes 59? You just put the phone down on the customer? Bizarre. So we allow people. We're channel agnostic. We are not going to sit there and force customers in the banking hall to do technology. If you want to use technology, that's great. If you want to use an iPad, that's great. If you want to use the internet, that's great. If you want to use a mobile, that's great. If you want to walk in our stores, that's great. I don't care. I just want to do business with you. We do instant account opening. 74% of all accounts in Metrobank are opened on the spot, first keystroke to last keystroke, within 15 minutes. That is your card, chipped, pinned, and working. Anybody here ever had a card that didn't work, phoned their bank and were told it would be with you between 3 to 5 days? If your card breaks, it doesn't matter which store of Metrobank you banked with, you open your account in, we will print you a brand new debit or credit card on the spot. The most high premium banking service available doesn't do that, even if you offered to pay the courier fees. Why? Because they're not printed in this country. And it's all about how many cards can we produce at the lowest price. But because people work in silos, they don't understand the end-to-end cost. Do you think I've got a big postal bill? No. Do you think I need lots of telephone operators to answer the phone when the sticky bit on the card says, please will you ring to tell us you've received the account and we can activate it? No. Why? Because we print cards in store. It's a great experience. And actually, I've looked at the end-to-end cost and I'm both efficient and effective. Others who have this mass production run in whichever country of the world they choose might be efficient, but they're not effective. So what is it you've maybe outsourced, or you've maybe decided that mass production is best and you've forgotten what the customer really, really wants? And from a business perspective, we do lots of business with solicitors and insolvency practitioners. Why? Because I can give a customer an account number and a paying-in book, and a checkbook, and a card in 15 minutes. If you're an insolvency practitioner, the one thing you need really quickly is an account number and a paying-in book. So actually, instead of going to some of the big managing partners, the senior cashiers and insolvency practitioners choose to bank with Metro Bank, and I get millions, hundreds of millions of deposits. Why? Because of that one differential. Has anybody here ever worked for a charity with a bucket, collecting the money? Who's done the job? You know what? It's great that you do it, and it makes a big difference. But imagine after you've worked for 6-7 hours collecting the bucket, or those of you at home with a whiskey jar or a big jar full of coins. Please, the next time that jar of coins or that charity bucket's full, go into your bank that you bank with personally and put that bucket on the counter. They will refuse to count it for you. They will give you some plastic bags and send you away and tell you to count it. Well, we've got magic money machines. Anybody seen those machines in Tesco or Asda that count your money? Yeah, it's one of them, but it's slightly different on a couple of fronts. We don't charge you for that. They charge you between 7.5, 12.5. Ours is, again, open to customers and non-customers. And ours is interactive, which means you get to play a game with it. Anybody, again, just the young children under the age of 5, quick show of hands? You would love it. Why? Because it's a cartoon interaction. And what we do, we want children, young children, to feel comfortable with money. So we want you to count your money before you bring it to Metro Bank. And what we want you to do is pour all that money in, and if you can guess how much is in your piggy bank, a pound under or a pound over, we'll give your child a spot prize. Branded Metro Bank, of course. You wouldn't expect anything else. But we give spot prizes because children like to feel winners, and we encourage that. We've done 60,000 hours of financial literacy in schools, the fourth one of which is a visit to Metro Bank to play on the magic money machine and visit all of the good things we do. What do you think happens on the Saturday or the Sunday after 30 young children aged 7 have visited our store? They bring the parents with them. They come and show the parents the magic money machine. Remember, what do I want people to do? Walk across the threshold. They'll look at it and go, this is different. What do you do? We'll tell them what we do, and actually the rest is relatively easy. They will walk out with an account that's chipped and pinned and working. If you went into a normal bank and asked to open a current account, you would be given an appointment at best. And that appointment might be some days or even weeks away. So we do free coin counting. It's commercially in our interest. It makes the local greengrocers, market stalls, charities want to do business with us. We said earlier we're not going to maximise profit at the customer's expense. We will make a profit. And that's why we do not have any transaction charges whatsoever for anybody who's got a Metro Bank debit or credit card and they transact in Europe. I know how much it costs. I choose to absorb that cost in Europe. The rest of the world's different. We're still the cheapest because we only absorb the actual cost and pass the actual cost on for the rest of the world. But in Europe, we charge you nothing. If you draw out £1,000 from an ATM in 5 200 instalments, you'll pay on average £45 in bank charges. But you're in happy mode, so you don't realise it. You don't always check your statements, and actually the statements aren't particularly transparent, so you won't realise how much it's cost you. It's just cost you. I don't believe that is putting the customer at the heart of everything you do. And here's one more. Because of regulation, any bank can take up to 0.49% interest away from your instant savings accounts without telling you, provided each amount is 0.24 or less. So that means that banks can twice, 0.24, take money out of your bank account by not giving you the interest. In the last 3 years, the amount that has not been paid into customers' accounts and not been advised to them, i.e. they've taken it without telling you, is £4.7 billion. Would you seriously let somebody take £10 out of your purse without mentioning it? The answer is yes. Leave your purses and your wallets on the floor and I'll take the money. But that's what banks are doing, because actually they can't make it work So what do? They have stealth measures, yet they claim to be customer-centric. I'm not bothered about having stealth measures, but at least be honest, at least be transparent, at least put the customer at the heart of everything you do. So you can still see the industry is broken and we're still on our revolution. So next time you go into your store or your branch, can you ask to use the toilet? Please go into your bank and say, can I use your toilet? No chance. If you've got a young baby, take the young baby in and say, is there anywhere I can change the baby? And somebody will say, what do you want to change it for? 20s, 10s, £5? No, I don't mean change the baby. I mean, I'd like to change the baby's nappy. We have customer toilets in every single store. For non-customers, that's okay. We also have baby changing facilities in every single store. And again, that's okay. So we are the only organisation in the UK for the last 3 years to have Mumsnet award us the Gold Award. So that's why we don't need big marketing campaigns to attract customers. What we're doing is doing the right thing, and then other groups like Mumsnet, which is one of the leading lobbyist advice organisations for young parents in the UK, they will actually recommend us because Mumsnet are fans. The Metropolitan Police are fans. And that brings me on to the safety deposit vault. We have safety deposit vaults in all of our stores. Now that might not mean a lot to some of you in the room, but actually the feedback from the Asian community in particular is this is our most valuable service. Because lots of Asian families have jewellery that's been passed down through generations and they have regular weekend functions, that actually knowing the fact that their jewellery is safe in a Metro bank gives them a lot of comfort. And actually a lot of insurers recommend it, as do the Met Police. But you link that with the fact that we're open 7 days a week. And actually for anybody that wants jewellery 24/7, right? They've got a real better chance with Metro Bank than anywhere else. And because we don't close over Easter, then nobody can come in and spare 4 days, as they did in Hatton Garden, trying to rob our jewellery. So we are almost sold out in safety deposit boxes. The safety deposit income covers our ground rent for every Metro Bank store. Imagine having something that is customer-centric that actually covers one of your biggest fixed costs. We let dogs in store. Any dog. Not a guide dog or a hearing dog, any dog. Quick show again. Do I have any dog owners in the room? Is it true you love your dogs more than you love your kids? Some are saying no, some are saying absolutely. But we let dogs in. Why? That's a sign of us talking about embracing the community. What's the worst thing that could happen by letting a dog in? It could do something on the floor. You know what you then would do? Well, I would. I'd clear it up. So dogs are welcome. We love kids. Kids rock. We have kids events. Why? Because we understand if you bring a child, there's a chance they'll bring the parent or carer. I need them across the threshold. When they come across the threshold, the rest is history. And actually, we have internal ATMs because I want customers to be safe, warm and dry, as well as external ATMs. So that's our proposition, that's our value proposition. And if you stay 1 penny in credit, that costs you £0. That's the equivalent to Asda or Tesco giving away bread, milk, eggs, sugar. So we want to give the customer it. We don't have sales targets, we don't have wealth management products. We talk about simple to understand products and pricing. That is why I can stand here and say we deliver, we execute on the customer proposition. I can say, because I don't charge a penny for anybody using our services in Europe, that I am not maximising my profits at the customer expense. The fact that I spend 2.7 million fitting out a store, putting a toilet in there, putting baby changing facilities in there, spending £50,000 on a magic money machine that I charge nothing for, means I can stand here and say, truly, we put the customer at the heart of everything we do. But actually, we talk about culture, and we have a culture that's about amazing. So, how many of your leaders could stand here and recite the 5 key values of your organisation that you want your colleagues to live. Well, I'm going to do it. A, we attend to every detail. M, we make every wrong right. A, we ask if we're not sure, bump it up. Z, zest is contagious, share it. E, exceed expectations. And let me just cover one of those very briefly. It's the ask if you're not sure, bump it up. What we want is for people to say yes to customers. So it takes one person to say yes in Metro Bank. It takes at least 2 to say no. Because we want somebody to bump it up to the most senior person available to say, I think we should help. But at the moment, the rules might say we can't. And that's a great opportunity to kill stupid rules. When was the last time your organisation had a cull on stupid rules? Because most of the rules you've got in your organisation were created years ago for problems that no longer exist, but they're still the rules. And I suspect somewhere along the way, one person or one store made the mistake and everybody else got to pay for it. So have a cull on stupid rules. We have a no stupid rules mailbox. It's mine. Of course, I create most of the stupid rules as managing director. Any regulators in the room? Good. You don't help either, right? So I look at the stupid rules, and because people mailbox me, I get the chance to coach and explain if it's our rule and change the rules. I also get the chance to explain if it's a regulator's rule. Average age of people on the floor at Metro Bank, 21. 65% never worked in a bank before. That's good. Don't have to teach them how to smile. The good news is we let process and technology do the heavy lifting. So all we do is create capacity for people to have great conversations about our colleagues and make them better, and our customers to surprise and delight them. So for our leaders, we have 3 more values. It is, our leaders, we want you to inspire. Minute in, minute out, day in, day out. I want leaders to inspire. I want leaders to nurture. I want you to be the best coach. Because if you're a leader and you're coaching people to be better at who they are and what they do, your job gets easier. You get to spend more time starting fires and working on the business rather than putting fires out and having to work in the business. And finally, if you're a leader, to save me having to do all the thinking, I want people to game change. Game change is the way you stay ahead of the competition. And our latest game change is on our mobile phone app. Again, bit of interaction. Has anybody ever left their card, bank card, in a bag or a jacket or a suit at home because they changed the jacket, they changed the bag, or they changed the suit? Anybody done that? See, that's really interesting, because in the eyes of a traditional bank, that card is no longer in your possession. And if you phone up and tell them that, they will cancel your card and it'll spend 3 to 5 days getting you a new one. Our game change, and it's part of the Henry Ford, they don't want faster horses, they want cars. On your mobile phone app, if your card is not in your possession, you can go onto the Metro Bank app and actually suspend the card. And when you get home that night and it's in your top pocket or it's in another bag or another jacket, you reactivate the card. That's pretty cool. That means your card is protected from any fraud, but it's not cancelled and a new one. Who thinks I also print a lot less cards as a result of that piece of technology? It's really cool. Now, how we identified that is we look for what we call expressions of dissatisfaction. That's not a complaint. That's somebody with a throwaway line, and we record them. And actually, we have a 3-hour board meeting where we go through line by line. And it was customers saying, I misplaced my card, I need a new one, but why can't you just suspend my card? And actually, we thought, why can't we? So we did. So, a couple of pictures to go by. That's the magic money machine with a dog, which is 2 of our values. We're trying to work out whether or not the keypad can allow a dog's paw to work the keypad. It's not working at the moment, don't worry about that. The second one is pens. Can anybody give me an answer when we do Q&As. Why is it when you walk in your bank, the pen is chained down? Just think about that for a minute, right? They want you to trust them with your salary and your savings. But when you walk in a traditional bank branch, they think you're a thief. They must do, because I can't think of any other reason why they would chain a 1p value pen down. Well, mine, it's not even branded. How stupid's that? So here we have a different approach at Metro Bank. We have pens, and of course, they're branded. Would anybody like this pen? Please, thank you. There you go, you're there first. Do you realise that's now 1.5 million and one pens we've given away in 4 years? They're everywhere. How do you get your brand? So that's what we think. Go ask your bank manager why he changed his pen down. So we talk about who's responsible for delivering the amazing service. And we don't believe it's the organisation. We believe it's the individual. And the job of leadership, therefore, is to be a head coach. So we talk about uncompromising 100% execution. I used to have a job as a parachute packer. If I'd have had standards that said it was 92% okay to be accurate, I'd have condemned 26,000 people to death or serious injury in the UK. So I'm sorry, we're a sort of 100% organisation. We're uncompromising, because even at 99%, there's some real human beings that we've screwed up on. I don't pay people to screw up on customers. So I make sure we're uncompromising. If you don't want to live our brand, go and ruin somebody else's. That's the bit around buy in or opt out. We use 4 letters, FIFO. It stands for fit in or I can't say the other 2 words, but you sort of get the meaning. If you're going to kill the brand, go kill someone else's. Don't ruin my brand. Don't drag the body. If people aren't performing, we'll coach them. If they don't want to be coached, we don't drag the body, because it slows us down. We just get rid of them. Why? Because the brand is bigger than any individual, including me, including Craig, my CEO, including Vernon. And actually, our employee engagement score, as I said earlier, is 96%. We then talk about behaviours, driving performance. Too many people put a number up there and then beat the living daylights out of the people to get that number. And sometimes you get the number, but it's a tick box exercise. Actually, it's malicious obedience. And actually, the customer doesn't get a great experience, but everybody can fiddle it, so you've got your number. We don't do that. We talk about the right behaviours, and actually the numbers look after themselves. You can see there we have magic shops. It was interesting when I was looking, how do I keep the culture alive? How do I find out what's happening when I'm not around? Somebody said, you want to do mystery shops. What came into my mind was the most awful picture. A mystery shop, is that all about catching people out? So we have magic shops where we work on what are we doing really well. Because actually praise brings more of the same. We have an obsession with catching people doing it right. I've worked for organisations who've got an obsession with catching people out. I'm going to search you as you leave the building. So now we're all thieves, are we? You're going to have to do that, you're going to have to do that. I tell you what, why don't we just base a relationship on trust? Saves a lot of paper. We have Net Promoter Score. Net Promoter Score for account opening, 83.4%. The nearest Net Promoter Score in our industry is First Direct at 66, followed by the Nationwide at 33, Co-op at 20, and then a group around 0 with the Royal Bank of Scotland minus. Just think about having a minus NPS. More people hate you than are ambivalent about you. That's without any advocacy. So we're really proud of that. But you know what? Being the best bank, I have no interest to be. I want to be better than Lush. I want to be better than John Lewis. I want to be better than Apple. I might not be global domination in terms of banking, but in what we do, how we choose to do it, we can choose to be the very best. We have no sales targets. Sales targets drive the wrong behaviour. We reward for behaviours and service. And actually, we don't put ourselves in the customer's shoes, because I could stand in some shoes and not move, and they'd feel comfortable for a while. If you've walked a mile in high heels, I know how it feels. Hard. We put ourselves in those customers' shoes. So guess what? All nice, does it work? We opened our doors in 2010, 29th of July. No customers. First store. No money. No deposits, no lending. There's the results. We've now opened 37 stores. We opened Aylesbury last Saturday. Most building societies outside of the top 3 have got less than 25. They've been in existence 150 years. We've been in existence 5. We've got 4.4 billion of deposits. We're greedy though. We want 50 billion by 2025. We've lent some of that money on. That's how we make profit. But we'll only lend what we have in deposits. We will never lend money we don't have. Therefore, we control our own destiny. That was the problem with the original banking crisis. From scratch, we've now got 2,000 colleagues, the largest employer in the southeast of England, and 600,000 people that have chosen to walk in our stores, because you can't open a current account online. So they've chosen to walk in a store and open an account, 600,000. And it's cost us less than 250,000 in direct marketing. Our stores and our colleagues do the work. So in summary, profit for us is a byproduct. Amazing service. Putting the colleagues, the customers, having great leaders means we'll get the results we deserve. Therefore, great outcomes are driven by great behaviours. We then will build it store by store. We're not going to buy another bank. Why would we bring infection into our business? A cultural infection we want no part of. We look at the great retailers, as I mentioned earlier. So when we do our magic shops, we use the same retailers, shoppers that do Sainsbury's, that do Mulberry, that do Michael Kors, that do John Lewis. And we are now getting better magic shop scores than John Lewis. But I'm still not happy. But that's me. And actually, we want to create fans, not customers. So I want to say thank you. I'll take some questions. And at this stage, people say thanks for listening and good luck. My background's sport. I don't believe in luck. And when I was trying to work out how I could explain luck to an audience, I came across a quote from a Roman senator from over 2,000 years ago. And it was called Seneca. And this is what he said about luck. He said, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Because when people used to say they're lucky, I used to work out that they'd prepared better than the ones who were unlucky. The ones that were prepared to be courageous and actually go seize that opportunity, even though it wasn't always a safe bet. That's Metrobank. We want to seize the day, we want to seize the opportunity. I applaud you as individuals for your time here today, because you are clearly preparing for the opportunity. I hope that opportunity presents itself. Now, before I take questions, I've not had time to do Metrobank justice in 45 minutes. So Vernon Hill, our chairman, has written a book. I brought one copy. I'm not taking it back to Manchester on the train. So I'm just wondering, would anybody like to take this book off me? Thank you so much. Give a round of applause for this young lady. Thank you. Because that was just a real example of a Metrobank. We didn't put our hand up and ask to be chosen. We got off our arse and made it happen. And I hope that with what I've shared with you today, you're able to go back and disrupt some thinking in your organisation. Really putting some challenges by maybe using some of the Metrobank story about making your business and making your customer experience the simpler, the very best it can be. Thank you very much for listening. I'll take some questions. Thank you. Any questions? Okay.
Thanks. You talked about rewarding for behaviour.
Yep.
Can you just explain a bit more about how you do that?
Yeah, of course I can. So reward for behaviour. So I said earlier our mnemonic was amazing. So we reinforce our culture in lots of different ways. First of all, we don't have head office, we have a Maze Central. Secondly, we don't have a contact centre, we have a Maze Direct. And actually part of our appraisal system, we call them amazing reviews. So behaviours, actually every individual colleague has to demonstrate how they've lived those behaviours. So they have to give examples of where they've attended to every detail. They have to then give an example of where they've made any wrong right. They've then got to give an example of where they've asked if they weren't sure and they bumped it up. They've then got to give examples of where they've demonstrated zest. They've then got to give examples of where they've exceeded expectations. And if you're a leader, you've then got to give me examples of where you've inspired, where you've nurtured, where you've game changed. Everybody in the organisation has exactly the same amazing review. And that is what we measure in terms of behaviours. We also have a system called Yammer. Yammer is in our internal system of communication. And we actually encourage colleagues to put behaviours and stories on there. And what everyone is empowered to do is allowed to give 5 badges a month away that have points values for the best stories. And therefore, the best story becomes X factor. And actually we recognise those people because actually they've shared with us the right behaviours, customer stories. And it's amazing, we get hundreds every day and it makes you feel really good. And what it also makes colleagues in all of our stores, Maze Central and Maze Direct go, I've done that, I'm going to tell somebody about that story. Well, actually we've just got hundreds of thousands of great stories where we've delighted and amazed the customer. That's our behaviours and we rank people. So you know, it's really important and it's behaviours before everything. If you get that bit right, we're convinced the outcomes follow. Any more questions? Question down here, thank you. Thanks for your question.
It sounds like you're being really successful at the moment,
yep.
But with success, you obviously got to try things and fail.
Yeah.
What are your failures and what have you learned and how have you dealt with them?
Oh, right, okay. So we talk about fail fast and fail often. So whilst there's no big thing, I can say that was just the unmitigated failure. How did we fail? We left the doors of the safe open one night. That wasn't very clever. That was a big failure. No, we did, right? So fail fast and fail often, right? So we learned really quickly that it'd be a really good idea, because we want process and technology to do the heavy lifting, to put an alarm system that when you left the premises, if your safe was unlocked, it told you. So we fail fast and fail often. We tried to do things on our internet, mobile, that just didn't work. So we sort of realised customer numbers were dumb. So we created really quickly the ability to nickname your account. So if you bank at Metrobank, you know what a savings account's for. It might be a holiday, it might be a car, it might be your daughter's university fees, which was mine. So when we put numbers on there, we failed really fast. We failed really often because it was just a dumb idea. Now you can nickname your account. So I've got Chris's new car account, Chris's don't tell the wife account, Emily's university fees account. And you know what? Customers love the fact that they can nickname it. So we've had lots of little failures, but again, I'm a great believer in Kaizen. So actually, how can we do quality control really early on in all of our systems and processes? Because why would I want to use the customer as my live trial? That's really dumb as well. So we fail fast and fail often. And actually, it's okay to fail. Again, I've worked in other industries and other organisations where your career failed if the pilot scheme or project you were running failed with it. So you know what? You couldn't tell anybody it was crap because you would lose your job. And that just meant some of the most bizarre things happened. So we're an open, honest, transparent business. Failures, lots of them, lots of times, but that's how we learn. Again, Thomas Edison. I didn't fail, I just learned of another way how not to do it. So we're a great believer in fail fast, fail often. Is that okay? Thank you. We'll take one more question. Thank you, one at the front here, thank you.
Hi there. You mentioned in your slides earlier that you're channel agnostic.
Yep.
And you don't use an AVR. So you
yep.
know, what technologies are you using to help you be successful?
So can I just play it back? I suppose we've got internet. We answer the telephone with a human being. And I'm trying to think if there's a specific example. We've got lots of technology, but it helps us deliver for the customer. What I'm saying about agnostic is, if I walk into HSBC or Barclays at the moment, I'm faced with somebody on an iPad that is actually preventing me from wanting to go and do a transaction on the counter. They're forcing me to use a machine. So we use lots of technology. I've got Ubiquitium, I've got Temenos, I've got stuff like that that helps me deliver a great service. But what I don't do is go, actually the internet's cheaper than the human being, so I need a campaign to block customers at the door and say, if you don't use that machine there, I don't really want you going near my counter. My counter is welcoming. I have meter greeters in every store. So when we say we're channel agnostic, we blend human in terms of the experience with fulfillment, which is heavy lifting using technology. So we have gotten really cutting edge technology, but I'm not going to insist because I spent a lot of money on cutting edge technology. You're going to have to use it. That's what I mean by being channel agnostic. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's it, everybody. Thanks very much for listening. Have a great rest of the conference. Thank you.